Or what's your message to Americans who say that the reason we're in the war with Iran right now is to distract from the Epstein files?
Well, first, everything that Donald Trump does is to distract from the Epstein files, but also he's given no mission. We have no idea why we're there. He won't admit it's a war. We know American troops have died. Civilians are dying. The amount of money we're spending, we could fund healthcare and public schools and infrastructure in this country. And so it's time for Donald Trump to actually release the files and end this war right now.
Iran is not interested in negotiating with Trump or the US regime. Iran is going to punish the United States. This regime in Washington has tried to cross a bridge that's a bridge too far. And they're messing with the wrong country. We're not Venezuela. This is the Islamic Republic of Iran. And we will make sure that the United States regrets the aggression against the Iranian people and the slaughter of children and the slaughter of innocent civilians and the murder of the leader. And they will come to regret it. Iran will defeat the United States. Iranians have been planning for this day ever since the invasion of Iraq. They knew that at some point the Epstein regime will go after Iranians. And therefore they've been preparing themselves for many years. And now the United States will have to pay the price. For the United States, this is a war of choice, a choice that has been imposed upon the American people by the Epstein class. We will expel the United States from our homeland, and we'll make sure that the United States never again thinks about aggression against our country.
I've not seen any intelligence that would satisfy that kind of attack. This was clearly an attack to distract us from the Epstein files. And what is clear to me is that this is a hegemonic attempt for Donald Trump to put his footprint in the region, not only in the Middle East, but in the global South. We've seen what has happened with Maduro. We've now seen what happened in Ecuador. And now Donald Trump is trying to show the global community that he has the big stick, all in an attempt to establish a very shaky legacy, a very questionable legacy, and take us away from his failings here.
So when you hear, it's interesting for someone like yourself, who's a member of the Intel Committee, when someone like Scott Jennings, the MAGA pundit on CNN, says on Twitter, as he did over the weekend, senior Trump administration officials tell me that credible intelligence indicated Iran planned preemptive missile strikes against US military targets in the region and against civilian targets as well. Failure to act would have resulted in mass US casualties. You're saying that's a lie?
I've not seen any evidence that would satisfy an attack. I think that the Netanyahu administration has been very persuasive over Donald Trump. Donald Trump has an issue. He projects himself to be very decisive and a very clear leader, but it's clear that he's most influenced by the last person he speaks to. And that's the kind of leadership that troubles me. He's a masterful marketeer, but as a leader, he doesn't have the constitution and the resolve to convince generals, let alone the American people, that he's our commander-in-chief.
I have come across some information, and some people are saying Iran war, the reason why it started is because America wanted to polish the Epstein files. And I know you have come across videos where Iran is sending or reminding Americans, is reminding the world about the Epstein files. You know what happened to Epstein files? I know you have come across it. And I don't want to discuss here, but I want to discuss the possibility of Iran playing what we call psychological war. I want to talk about the possibility of USA, of DJT, bringing up this war issue so that we can shift our mind and concentrate on this. Because Iran has referenced Epstein in messaging. Yes, I need to talk about that in this one. But we just know this more than psychological warfare and messaging. Now, right before the war, everybody was talking about Epstein. Yes. You talked about it, I talked about it. And then suddenly, missiles, headlines, and chaos, and just like that, Epstein has gone silent. Grand rising. Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean. Much love to every single one of you. Turn in right now. I appreciate your time, I appreciate your mind, and I appreciate your energy. Today, I am not just having here noise. No. But I'm here to have clarity because something happened and a lot of people felt it. But very few are talking about this openly. I want to talk about the Iran war and the Epstein files. But before I go then, I want to play you some reaction of people, black Americans, white Americans. The world is reacting on this issue. Let's watch this clip, and then I come back with more commentary.
This has never been about nuclear weapons. This has been about Israel's regional hegemony in the Middle East. Israel wants to topple the Iranian regime, period. It has said so. This is not a mystery. This is not my claim. This is Israeli policy repeated year in, year out. The whole idea that Trump is negotiating to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, duh. That was negotiated. Trump ripped it up. The Iranians have come back every year to say, we don't want a nuclear weapon. We want negotiations. The United States does not accept yes for an answer because it works for the government of Israel. This is the point. Why does it work for the government of Israel? It's a little hard to understand. Maybe because it's of Mike Hucklebee's parishioners, because of people who read the Bible and say, okay, that's our foreign policy. That's possible. It may be because of what's in the Epstein files that haven't been released. It may be blackmail. It may be corruption. It may be many other things, but it is not about America's interests. We have no interest whatsoever in going to a war with Iran right now.
Yeah,
if there is such a war, it's a war because Israel has told the United States what to do. And that raises a question. Why has the United States done what Israel has told the United States to do for 30 years? And I don't just mean about Iran. I mean across the Middle East.
So Iran has officially released a diss track against Donald Trump. And I need to start out because it goes hard. Okay. And I know it goes hard. I need to start off by saying and letting you guys know, I do not at all in any way, shape or form support Iran, but you have to watch this diss track because it does go hard.
Yeah. Make America great again. Yo, Tails, this shit crazy. Yeah. Make America great again now. We will see what happens, yeah. Watch this. Sacred defense, we protecting the soil. While you sacrifice soldiers to pay for your spoil. You thought you ran the blow, sitting on your throne. Now we turning every base into a bed of stone. It's a slaughterhouse, a trap you couldn't see. Welcome to the graveyard of your vanity. The secrets are leaking. The pressure is rising. We locked on the target. And now you are hiding. LOSC. Yeah, we spelling at your name. Send them to the slaughter.
Now there is a full, 2.5 or 3 minute video of this. This is a full song that they released. I could only show you a little bit before I got, but they released this and they finished up the video with basically saying a very harsh message and then thank you for your attention to this matter as an absolute insult to Donald Trump. Now, mind you, Republicans back before Donald Trump got elected said that he would be the best man to keep us out of wars because, oh my God, the Middle East is so scared of him. This isn't giving scared at all. Like I said, I do not support Iran in any shape, way, fashion, not at all. But holy hell, this diss track went hard. You can find the full 2 minutes pretty much anywhere if you just look up Iran's diss track against Donald Trump. It goes hard. I mean, the bars were pretty... There's a lot of... Yeah, anyways, my name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow. You want to see my face again? Thank you. Goodbye.
So I wanted to address a rumor that's going around on social media about Iran, Donald Trump, and the Epstein files. So basically, there's a claim going on right now. It's going pretty viral that Iranian hackers hacked the Epstein files. They have photos, videos, other incriminating information about President Trump, about him being inappropriate with minors, underage girls, and that they will release it if he attacks Iran. And I want to come on and let you guys know that, again, I will address things when they're true, or not true, I should say. This is not true. There are no Iranian hackers that have said this. This stems from a conversation where Iran has publicly criticized President Trump over the Epstein files. And there's also some rhetoric around... Sorry, a light change. I won't record while I'm driving. But anyways, there's a lot of rhetoric and criticism around President Trump, the DOJ regarding the files. But it's important to separate fact from fiction, truth from fiction. And there is no credible evidence that, number one, there are any videos of what they're saying exist. What we do have in the files are accusations, very detailed accusations accusing President Trump, but nothing... we've heard nothing about any videos or any other type of evidence outside of that. even photographic. The other thing is that people can go online and say whatever they want. There's the ability to do that with zero ramifications, and typically those posts spread like wildfire. Those creators make a lot of money off of that because they get millions and millions of views. So that's the point of them doing it. If you want truth and accountability, feel free to follow me or other creators that are consistently putting out things that are factual. But like I said before, I will always separate truth from fiction when we can. Doesn't matter which side it benefits, which side it hurts. The truth is most important, and when it comes to these files, the victims deserve for the truth, the survivors deserve for the truth, the actual things to be out there. Let's focus on that, not some fake stuff.
The people in the Epstein files would rather have World War III than have all of the Epstein files released. If you were Donald Trump and you are all involved with the Epstein files, would you rather start a war with Iran or release all of the Epstein files unredacted? Put yourself in Donald Trump's place. Put yourself in the place of all those people in the Epstein files. When you put yourself in their place, then you look at the world, I think you make good decisions for you and your family. Wherever you are in the world, you're not immune. All right? Somewhere right now, bombs are dropping on men, women, and children going about their lives. You might be safe where you are right now. But what happens if this conflict escalates? Russia, China, Europe, Africa, if everybody joins it. World War I didn't happen in a day. So did World War II. Chances is we're in the middle of World War III, and World War III will go for a longer time than World War I and World War II combined. So be smart about how you invest your money, be smart about your security, how you communicate with your loved ones, wherever you find yourself. No need to panic too much, depending on where you are, unless you are in Tehran right now, or Israel, or somewhere in the Middle East. But you need to be vigilant, y'all. We live in some crazy times.
We all knew that Trump wanted to start a war. It was just a matter of when he wanted to start that war. He had it in his back pocket. The only reason why he was like, you know what, let's just do it now, was as soon as they went on TV and said that he had to elaborate what the fuck he was doing in the files, this man quickly took it from the back of his pocket and said, strike him now. Convinced Israel to be along with it as well. Because I just feel like there's no way that they really want to go to war right now. I don't think so. I really don't. I feel like the U.S. is taunting them, not even taunting them. They're manipulating them to think that everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Bro, Iran just striked U.S. bases. Shit is not okay. Like, I don't know what they think they're doing, but it's not working. I don't give a fuck if they win or not. Y'all are killing innocent people. This man needs to get impeached. JD Vance needs to get impeached. I don't even know if that's a thing, because he's vice president. Either way, I don't give a fuck, because if Trump's not there, who are they going to give it to? JD Vance. And who does JD Vance agree with? Donald Trump. So, like, what are we asking for?
You guys, Iran just trolled Trump over his Epstein ties and implied that the real reason he started the war was to distract from the Epstein files. So look at this Lego-style propaganda video that just aired on Iranian state TV. So in that, you can see Trump, Netanyahu, and Satan looking at the Jeffrey Epstein files, and then Trump becomes enraged and presses a red button and sends a missile to Iran. And then we see that missile hit the Iranian girls' school, which, as News Girls reported earlier this week, U.S. intelligence does believe the U.S. unintentionally hit that on the first day of this conflict. Now, obviously, all of this is pro-Iran propaganda. I'm not even going to show the rest of the video because it's just so blatant. But what's notable about this is the first time the Iranian regime itself has pushed the narrative that Trump started the war to distract from the Epstein files, even though other pro-Iranian networks have been weaponizing the scandal online for quite a while. In fact, X is flooded with AI videos of Trump and Epstein together, or Trump with blindfolded little girls, and what's extra insidious about these is that they're part AI, part based on like real photos, so it makes it way harder to identify them as fake. And researchers say pro-Iran networks spread these videos to sow distrust in the US government and basically erode public support for the war in Iran. What's interesting is Iran is not the only adversary that does this. Russia and China also push conspiracies with the intent of dividing the country. Just one more reason to be hyper vigilant of what you believe when you're on the internet. We here at News Girls will keep talking about Iran and Epstein and covering them from every angle, so follow to stay in the loop.
What would happen if Iran successfully hacked and then released the unredacted Epstein files here in America? Because a couple days ago, Kash Patel, the FBI director, his personal email account was hacked by Iranian hackers. Now, it wasn't the FBI account, it wasn't any sensitive government information, but his personal accounts were hacked, and certain things were released, mostly old things from 2010 to 2019. And they have alluded, not very secretly, that they intend to do more hacking as well. And who knows how far they're actually going to get? Who knows what information they really have? This may have just been a once in a, lifetime accident from them. But if they were able to hack enough high-ranking government officials to get some redacted Epstein files released, how quickly do you think Trump would lose the propaganda and media war against a foreign adversary when that foreign adversary releases unredacted proof of criminal activity to the American people when our own government wouldn't?
So here's the thing. Donald Trump has been taking victory laps today, saying that the strike he made against Iran was a huge success. And I started wondering, does this mean we're actually going to start getting somewhere when it comes to the Epstein files, right? Then this story started trending all over X today about Donald Trump and a man named Paul involved in a crime that involved raping children. And for those of you out there that love to say, that's not really true, is it in the files? Read it for yourself. February 16th, 2017. Quote, I was pointing out that the alleged rape and was reported to be at my house with Donald and I raping her. And it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. Supposedly, Epstein was speculating in Trump's first term that if Donald Trump was cornered like a rat, it would trigger a larger conflict, including bombing Iran and creating a crisis and trying to rally the public for support. And if you want to read more information about that, you can read it right here. I say all that because Donald Trump just posted this after saying
Welcome back. Now, let me start with what we all saw, all of us. For weeks, even months, the conversation around Epstein was heating up again. People were asking questions. Names were being discussed. Documents were being demanded. Social media flooded. Commentary channels on fire. Even mainstream spaces could not fully ignore that conversation. And then suddenly, war headlines took over. Iran, Argentina, tension, missiles, global fear. After it came, we forgot about Epstein files. Just like that, tension shifted. And just like that, we are not hearing the Epstein file anymore. Our question is, was this war a diversion of Epstein file? Now, let me talk about something. Throughout history, powerful governments have always understood one thing: control the attention and you control the narrative. And that's why white people right now are not reacting with feelings and everything. When white people are focused on one issue, especially something dangerous to power, it creates pressure. But when fear enters this room, we conflict instability. So people stop asking certain questions. This is not a conspiracy. This is not psychology. Even schools, even scholars have long argued that media, power structure, and shape public focus. But to my brother Junior, let's talk about the name at the center of all this, Epstein files. A man whose case was not just criminal, but deeply connected to power, connected to wealth and influence. And this is why people care a lot about that. Because the question has never just been, what did Epstein do? But the question has always been, what was commanded to him, or what was connected to him, And why haven't we seen anything? And when that question pops up, when that questions begin to grow, it doesn't threaten individual alone. It threatens the entire system. So after us sitting down and reading about the epistle and talking about it, suddenly it comes a war. It comes a war that you must be so much carefully, but we can still ask questions about, because image matters. Soon after the war began, a narrative started spreading rumors online. So what if war is a distraction from Epstein? What if? And this is not proven. This is not evidence that the war started instead of school. But the narrative exists, and more important, it's employment. Some other wars began, narratives started spreading online. What if this was associated to Epstein? Now listen carefully. There is not proven, and that is not evidence that the war was started because of Epstein, but the narrative exists. And more importantly, it is being amplified, especially by media and vocal connected to Iran. And the reason is because information is also battlefield. Let's say this. A lot of people are saying this war is about diverting Epstein. And even Iran are sending reminders about Epstein files. We need to catch up with it. You tell me what you think in the comments about that video. Until next episode, peace out.